All right, y'all. In a recent interview, Willow Smith talked about how she really recently forgave her mom, Jada Pinkett-Smith, for overlooking her anxiety issues growing up. Willow said, I feel like when I was growing up, she didn't understand my anxiety because she, growing up, had seen her friends die. She had been through so much stuff that my issues to her felt smaller. She continued with, and that was very frustrating for me as a child because I was like, how can you not see my internal and emotional struggle? Fellas, what are your thoughts on Willow opening up about her feelings? Al, what do you think about this?
This is really interesting because when you look at it from an educational standpoint of what's going on in the school systems today, social emotional learning is being taught in the school system now because this new generation really doesn't know how to manage what's called big emotions. And they don't know how to self regulate. And when I hear her talk about this, I feel like, if she was in the school system now, this would be exactly what she would be doing. In this case, when I heard her say that, it sounds to me that her parents viewed it as a behavioral issue when in fact, because that's how Jada was raised, when in fact it was not a behavioral issue. It clearly was an anxiety of some sort attack. Now, the hard part here is with kids and their emotions, they don't know the difference between am I angry or am I embarrassed? And that is the monitoring of it. And that's why they teach social emotional learning. I think it was a good conversation. I just think probably the messenger, when you're very, very wealthy and live a very privileged life, you really don't think that they have these issues, or you really don't have any sympathy for them for having these issues.
Yeah, I can see that. Q, what are your thoughts?
I am curious to know how the world functioned from the 1900s up until about 1990, 2000s, right? Because up until that point, there was just no conversation about all this anxiety, all these disorders. Now, all of a sudden, come, 2022, everybody walking got some type of doggone disorder about something. And I'm not negating the fact that the girl don't have something. I'm just curious to know, how did the world even function before we had diagnoses for all these disorders? But I don't want to talk about her disorder. I want them to burn their table. And I'm going to tell you why. I did a video today on my Instagram, and I finally realized what irks my nerves about that damn red table. What irks my nerves about that red table is Jada Smith and Willow Smith act as if they hold the license to all the pain, all the issues, all the suffering that has ever hit humanity. And I think it's Willow that bothers me the most, because I'm not trying to dismiss or diminish anything that this girl has gone through, but by sheer virtue of your age, you ain't been through shit, okay? Coupled with the fact that you come from a wealthy background, you ain't been through nothing, mama. You too young to have been through anything worth anything. I'm ready for them to burn their table.
I do tend to roll my eyes every time another story comes out about them. I feel like it's so, we give the Kardashians a hard time, but they're catching up as far as the, attention seeking, as far as I'm concerned. I'm just tired. And you know what? I'm with you on that, Q. Like, there's a lot of things that 70s and 80s babies, like, it's just called part of life. Mm-hmm. And I think we have a generation now of people who have no coping skills, can't deal with anything, because every little thing is an ism, is a thing, is a condition, I have all this anxiety. Yeah, we had anxiety too. We got to have anxiety when our rent wasn't paid, my mom got laid off, my dad didn't pay child support. But guess what? It may be stronger. It made me be want to be an overachiever and be extremely independent. Now, everything, if it's not 1000% comfortable from womb to the tomb, it's I had to deal with all this stress. It reminds me of the rich white kids that wanted to get all cray-cray and shoot up the schools because their daddy didn't buy them a car when they turned 16. Woe is you. Now, if you've had some sexual abuse, some issues, some real trauma, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to things that are just a rite of passage in life: anxiety, stress, insecurities, bullying. Bullying. What happened to that? Remember getting in fights when you were high school? You had to work it out. You worked it out, and then you resolved it and you moved on. I don't know. I know I'm sure someone will call me insensitive, but it's really hard for me to, I feel like, and I know I probably sound like my parents now, back in my day, like, you want to hear about problems? I'll tell you about some problems.
Yeah.
Witnessing some of the things, but you know what? I think this is why we have a generation now with no coping skills. And the first incident is that people offing themselves, they're shooting each other up. It's just a different time now. I don't know. All right. Okay, moving on.